We have faced a huge human health crisis. We are now working to prevent this horrific health crisis being accompanied by a similar economic crisis. The government has delivered an extensive package of support measures for workers, for companies, through the coronavirus job retention scheme, support for self-employed, through grants, through loans, through a wide range of measures to help to protect jobs, to help to make sure that despite the enormous impact of this outbreak, that businesses are able to see a way through it, that they are able to continue to employ people, that people who are self-employed or in small businesses can see a way to get through the outbreak to better times and to rebuild ahead. Sadly, of course, many people have already lost their jobs. And even more sadly, many more are likely to lose their jobs over the coming months as businesses take time to adjust, to adapt their businesses to order books that are unlikely, in many cases, to return to pre-crisis levels for some time. We need to be doing what we can to minimise those job losses, to help as many people as possible to return to work, to stay in work, because we know, as we've seen from previous recessions, jobs can be lost very quickly during economic downturns. It can take many, many more years to replace those jobs, to bring people back into work. And with a shock as sharp and as deep as the one that we have seen over the past few months from this pandemic, the measures such as this and the many others that the Chancellor has announced over the past 4 months are not only appropriate, they are unprecedented, but they're certainly necessary. Because if we are to prevent enormous numbers of people from losing their jobs, enormous numbers of businesses from closing for good, enormous numbers of families being deprived of the security and prosperity of paid employment, then we need the economy to recover, and that means that we need consumers to start spending. We need consumers to have the confidence to return to something approaching economic normality. Because if people don't have confidence in the economy, they don't part with their cash. When this happens, then there is a risk of a vicious circle of economic decline with inevitable large job losses as a consequence. It's crucial that we break that cycle and promote spending. And that's why I'm supporting this legislation today. This measure is designed to bring forward spending, certainly the largest piece of spending that almost anybody makes, the investment in a home. It's to make sure that consumers have the confidence to make those decisions over the next few months as we rebuild our economy, rather than put it off for a year or for more, where naturally caution, for many of the reasons that the Honourable Lady for Richmond was referring to, may make people concerned about such large spending as we come out of this health crisis. But our economy needs this economic activity to recover. It needs people to be spending. It needs a successful and vibrant housing market. Because, as many honourable members have said, the housing market, it is not purely those businesses, those industries directly associated. It's not just the estate agents, the removal firms. It goes far, far beyond, through construction. It's the decorators, it's the small business self-employed carpet fitters, the gardeners, who, in many cases, much of their work really centres around people who are moving into new homes and want to be making them really to their taste and as they want. And as chair of the all-party group for the furniture industry, I know how much of furniture manufacturing and retail in this country depends on a successful and thriving housing market. By stimulating that market, by bringing forward the decisions to be buying houses that could be put off for a year or more, by bringing those forward to the next 6-9 months, we are protecting those jobs by giving confidence to those companies, to those employers, to those small businesses, that there will be a market, because there will be a housing market. There will be people wanting to redecorate, to refit their bathrooms, to redo the garden, to buy new furniture. They can have the confidence to invest in their staff, to keep their workforce as close to normal levels as possible. That seems to me a very good investment. And so when the question is asked, is this the right way for the Chancellor to be spending resources, I would invite honourable and right honourable members to consider, what is the alternative? Are we suggesting, because I don't see the evidence locally that the housing market is instantly bouncing back without further intervention and support. I'm not seeing that there's huge amounts of confidence. Quite the reverse. As the Honourable Lady was saying, people are nervous that the plans that they had put in place to be either buying their first home, moving up the housing ladder, in many cases they are saying, well, perhaps now is not the right time. If the measures contained in this bill can help to bring forward those decisions, to make sure that that spending is taken as soon as possible, then that is protecting the jobs, it's protecting the prosperity that our constituents rely on. And that's why I'll be supporting this bill this evening.
Greg.